Okay, here we go. It's good. Okay. So the YouTube is going on. Okay.
Tamam. Tamam. You didn't have a shower? Go. Really? Just go?
rinpoche Jamne kencho sumla chepa Tuje shache rikso chung Shenge meto deke ponjomba Serge tumbo tamburo jepe ko Shache gepe shamla chepa Lama tene chambe de becham Ransen numa dille lama hando sumare Sawai dabje yodan deve kembo mena Sawai de nai loje zinze chime chinje Senlang zon me be todre rikpan jemba dikai denge lama Ishen dorje Ngone chembo ramba deme shala jame bechan mage damne selchan mage Lode ucho shesu chube miyam danyage debata che nyamne denajem Kanshara cheko yola teso chewe chenla Neljoro ningla shude ai ho ho Motsara che ho Lume tenge gombo lama ken Deljoro dine shindo ne baka Kitsen dak chewe checheye Gede leke jude Hamsun korwa dunga chanse ngai Jene dambo chenla juvarash Lume tenge gomba lama ken Deljoro dine shinto nepara Kitsen dak chewe checheye Gede leke jude luwane Hamsum korwa dunga janse ngai Jene dambo chenla juvarash Lume tenge gomba lama ken Deljoro dine shinto nepara Kitse meda chwe cheche Gede lege chudre luan Hamsum korwa dunga chanse nga Shene damo chunla jurwara Mingo mato bar lama kenjo sinla chanse Dizon chansho ningbo mato bar lama kenjo sumla chansho Dizon chansho ningbo mato bar lama kenjo sumla chansho Sunte korwa mato bar majur simchen gunge pende dru Amen sunde korwa mato bar majur simchen gunge pende Tane sunde korwa mato bar majur simchen gunge pende Gunge ludan lonche ben Tsone zoche kensho sunambo Serai kungi vedang long chebe soni zoche kenjo sumla. Serai kungi vedang long chebe soni zoche kenjo sumla. Doshe merme de kule de tse chemba de jang. Ombajra sada samaya nanu palaya banja sadu tenu batir sandir do meba sudu khay meba sudu khay meba sarva siddhi me praya sa sarva karma sujame tse tam shriya banja mame munja banja ba mahasamaya sato Vajra sadhu samaya manu palaya vajra sadhu tenu bhatir sadhu meva sadhu karam meva sadhu karam meva anaratame sarva siddhi me praya sa sarva kama sujame cetam shriyam kuruhum ha Bhagavan sarva tata gata benjar mame munja benjar ba mahasamaya sato Om Vajra Sadhu Samaya Manupalaya Vajra Sadhu Tenu Bhatir Sadhu Meva Subhakaya Meva Subhakaya Meva Anurata Meva Sava Siddhi Me Praya Ca Sava Kama Sujame Citam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Bhagavan Sarva Tata Gata Benja Mame Munja Benja Va Mahasamaya Sadho Vajra Sadhu, Vajra Sadhu, Vajra Sadhu, Vajra Sadhu. Dhamma Dhamma Roche Juru. Bhaje Najuru Dinkharu, Save Lama Peme Kurashin Juru. Malun de Beko, Tsawai Lama Chola Savade, Tiche Bando Sundo Tuje Zon, De Sun Junche Me Para Chenge, De Sun Sangye Malun de Beko, Tsawai Lama Chola Savade, Tiche Bando Sundo Tuje Zon, De Sun Junche Me Para Chenge, Sum Sangye Mandu Dibeko Sawe Lama Chola Sewade Dichi Bandu Sumdu Tuje Zon Disum Junche Me Para Chinge Vajra Guru Pema Siddhi Om Vajra Guru Pema Siddhi Vajra Guru Pema Siddhi Kusantuke Wanje Yonzo Toham Vajra Guru Kaya Waka Chitta Sindhi Yerme Ngai Rikton Denge Lame Ranshauka Savade Samlam Pawan Chombara Jingeno Kumbo Ba Mala Savade Samlam Pawan Chombara Jingeno Kumbo Ba Mala Savade Samlam Pawan Chombara Jingeno Lonche Getsarache Majur Dona Pamba Me Pata la chen ge me tro ba sha ani lu dan long che ge tsara che a jun ro la pang ba me ba dan ro den la chen ge me tro ba sha ani lu dan long che ge tsara che a jun ro la pang ba me ba dan ro den la chen ge me tro ba sha Chö sun ring lo che zam le sa sun cha para pe ro ju chon sun ma wa da mi dra de sun ge le no jang zong pe ma ge se dong bo la ya chen cho ge ngo dro me pe ma ju me she su ta ho do kan do man be go ge ge je su ta ro ji ching ge la che she su se go ro pe ma se ge no jam tam pema ge sui dambo la ya zen cho ge ro me pema jun me she su da kondo kando mambo go ge je su da ju ki jinge lo che she su se guru pema si ge no jang zang pe ma ge sai dong bo la ya zen cho ge ngo dro me pe ma ju ne she su ta kondo kando man be go ge ge je su ta ju ki jing ge lo che she su se guru pe ma se de chen gong san mo be ban cho be ma chen zhen mo ngo zhu cho zhen de chen kan zhe co ye xie co ge sham la sen wan xin nan san wei bar che xin wan la me ku ce ten bar jing ge lo Nimo senge shivara jinge lo, je koro beton shivara jinge lo, sepe shera ke para jinge lo, samba linge pro para jinge lo. Shmande kanwe lembe den karu, ugen teme tanai go shetso, ten zayan lai geden chuganwe, yusu rinchen pedon da geden, Tamne kundu ugen dorje chan, sembe pe para tsoge chaji doji yembe tu ponam, tadam rinchi tu bingi zi, Nilong de chen zi jin bara, korondo sa song jan so ten para ten. Chila doji charambe da lai zi. Geng o chi me ye shi ko, dong shu zhang ben de cha ta du zi. Le dan long che de sun ge wen co, kong san che be ten do meng nen de. Omene Sandito Malesha Seche Gyawa Kunge Yandengin Chada Chipo Gombe Namtarala Ningne Yeran Debe Sende Sagi Chake Chachen Beparago Ranshin Given Opo Kondom Roham Janso Gypsy Nike Bara Gembo Keke Namtara Jinete Kachandrowa Jembe Lendo Chane Kundu Kense Tashendo Kingeni Me Chakcho Rimboche Ngado Gyope Narshin Dongshoki Selden Pula Tsewe Tuken Gong Gombe Lone Tuke Sechona Midun Dagi Ningla Jinje Lo Tadan Sema Nyurdu Tembanda Chodan Tumo Ngadu Kandro Mambe Gora Kege Jesu Daruki Jinge Lapse Shenso Sen Guru Kama Sise Hong Yuge Manjan Sam Dhamma Yasen chogen udrone pema jone sheso da kodo kandro mambe koro kege jeso daru ke jenge lo che sheso se guru pema se deho. Uje no johnson pema gese dombola yasen chogen udrone pema jone sheso da kodo kandro mambe koro kege jeso daru ke jenge lo che sheso se guru pema se deho. Johnson, Bema gets a tombola, Yazen Chogan, Lone, Bema, June, Chesson. Johnson, Bema gets a tombola, Yazen Chogan, Lone, Bema, June, Chesson, Kondo, Mambergo, Jason, Guru Bema Sideho. No Johnson, Bema Gesa, Dombola, Yatsen Shogun, Odone, Bema Jone, Shesoda, Kodo, Kando, Mambergo, Kege, Jesoda, Shesosa, Guru, Bema Sideo. Johnson, Bema Gesa, Dombola, Yatsen Shogun, Odone, Bema Jone, Shesoda, Kodo, Kando, Kege, Jesoda, Ruke, Jingen, Shesosa, Guru, Bema Sideo. No Johnson, Bema, Gesa, Dombola, Yensen, Chogen, Rune, Bema, Jone, Sheso, Kodo, Kando, Mambergo, Kege, Jeso, Dajoge, Jingen, Sheso, Guru, Bema, Sedeo. No Johnson, Bema, Gesa, Dombola, Yensen, Chogen, Rune, Bema, Jone, Sheso, Kodo, Kando, Mambergo, Kege, Jeso, Dajoge. Hello, Guru Kama Sinde. Yuki Sawadambe Lama Yunge Josamba. Togani Yeshiki Yezaranala. Vadantara Chane Rangi Ningara Timbe. Jujinge Lambara. As I pray fervently with devotion, five colored wisdom light rays like filaments stretching, radiate out from the union in the heart of the Lama Yam and you. They dissolve into my heart and bless my mind straight. Chen Chogi Ngedroni Ema Juni She Soja Korondo Kandro Mambengo Kege Jeso Dadroge Ziyen Son Lai Chen Jena Jinge Long She Soja Metron Bero Jimbola Soche Yeshe Bukredo Dala Wajiboro Gerdan Loden Parachesa Chodan Tinmoy Mendo Lama Jidzen Bema Dejenze Rizin Kandro Chodan Tekai Sasun Kendi Gelwe Gelkorolai Nige Donsho Gabe Somade Tajen Gosun Gezon Lonchete Nasi Deyin Gebo Matan Kunzan Dechen Soke Kolombe Tete Geze Kodam Panjurese Sawa Depso Rurimboche Chinge Loche Rizin Kandresa Veden Gola Chodin Yudroze Dancing Yamcha Tamche Jambuse Chima Sawe Balche Yang Sodre Jancho Bato Termin Chezen Sezen Yamdo Yang Datar Pe Sambal Ringe Drobar Jinge Om Ahum Benzara Guru Tema Siddhi Om Ahum Om Ahum Om Ahum Sesum Haso Tola Jindren She China Sawe Dishen Sochen Tamchen Yamcha Tamchen Tolo Shan Nitzin Jage Chekin Sochen Yin Dewa Chenpe Tudam Gan Chodam Timon Rozen Dorse Tola Jindren She China Sawe Dishen Sochen Tamchen Yamcha Tamchen Tolo Shan Nitzin Jage Chekin Sochen Yin Dewa Chenpe Tudam Gan Chodam Timon Rozen Dorse Paso Sola Chen Si China Sai De Chen So Chen Tanse Nyamcha Tanchen Polo Shan Nizin Jagi Sheki Sonja Ni Dewa Chenpe Tudam Kan Chodan Timon Ro Che Do Rikun Chandal Ninjuro Mawai Tahaye Tudam Kang Joa Kundul Nijeta Jimrezike Tudam Nendetense Pema Garhawai Tudam Kang Kyokoro Choi Choyong Yeshe Tsoga Tudam Jutra Gomra Kandro Tudam Kame Chinle Zutrula Damchen Chesung Tempe Damchesa Geve Namcha Chichesha China Sanwe Barchege Omenese Londos Chodam Tenma Madro Tselindupe Andro Deche Gameso Tudam Deche Inso Chandar Nito Nawai Kai Tudam Joa Kundul Ningjeta Chenre Zike Tudam Bechense Emma Garhawan Tudam Kyokoro Choi Choyong Yeshe Tsoga Tudam Kandu Chöle Zutro Mumta Kando Tudam Tome Chenle Zutro Damchen Chesung Tebe Danseda Gewe Nyamsa Chichesha Chima Sawe Valchege Ome Usa Yambois Chodam Tumo Nidoke Chichedendrobe Cheme Chanda Yenindra Navaitaye Dodana Goa Kandu Ninjanita Chenre Sike Dodana Kodezumen Tetrensa Pema Garhavai Todana Kyokoro So Choi Choyo Yeshe Sangha Kandu Tunde Chuchukara Bumja Kandu Tunan Tome Chenle Suchonla Jordan, good morning, je shunoi mahada tenchire parjao are te mo choke mishe so enke zeme laine dewa chelaine kange dendan pani mai gombar ye sange ne to pai mai no nanda chini wa me parashe parenge jiten tam che jewaranye pao are te mo choke nishe so Benke ze me laine dewa che laine. Tendo Jangara Shagi Manda Ajuno Maje Dokuro Dambe Cento la Jurotan Je Bana Tabi Ilana Jixin Sena Chingi Game Shinkala Pepe Lo Me Shingloi Tsegi Ikojo Gizun Yangi Dizembome Limbo Lenemba Ya Sonanda Soe Etengela Ya Lementumbe Dorje Yependo Na Lama Jumpe Etera Labidam Mindra de Tsitoe Katen Ginaini Nyanga Luro Lembi Ikeche Shigido Neche Fogyo Mepe Shudre Givene La gom chan na da kandra ning te ese gi te pe ja le che ko ju pe inge dro che shu Jale cheko dope nidro chicho Jale cheko dope nidro chicho Pe soro tendara te shin ha shanju shantai gembe tola she ngenge dam cha je jindu tendra dam nyam se so so ta dan se ma nyurdu ten Jumbe parache do pada Chinle to me du paraze Uche sambaling ta kai Ne so ye gen jo sum le Zere karamara ting sum jo me so Rangi ni sun limbe go sunge Jirdan ku sun toje dorje Karani lama korche dojo Karamara tingle honge sembaro Rangi ningara timbe laime to Fransen yere me lenke che Di nurdo da ugen lama jurjurone Roa chikchan malimba Diye sala Guru Jinla Ke Dachan Sera Tamche Du Shingam Dabe Kodando Lama Jelme Temparasho Nege Tencha Me Baye Nebe Shabdo Drupata Komba Samu Tuke Che Jinla Dite Londo Kusong Tuke Jinla Ke Lunga Yesom Membada Same kezo nomni la onto drupa jeparishu. Onto dige sonam da nende bache shiwanda. Onam lonche gepa ye samba ye jen druparishu. Tuche rikche ponche so pinson sobe ninidu. Pinsen same gongche la tatu drupa jeparishu. Drupa jebe jego ye chinle namje drupa Hasin bendo kene chan sangye tenpa soresha. Tembe sombe damchen no zerme jula charwaresha. Kemba chola ngane ne toba chodan tembaresha. Chanjo semge tendrege kedro malu wande ne. Kame yeje norbe te drese dedan tembaresha. Sangye tenpa darwe tu juzen cheten gepata. Choken de la kene chan shinkam tamche tabasha. Tage lunga yusumge doja soso loyundo. Kan la gandu chube ko pato me bar joasha. Tona korde maleke goro kusun duje mebaye lamken sangen senchen serwa de parasho lame chinge la parasho idam gedro terwarasho kandro lonten je parasho chejon parshe serwarasho Temba darjin ge parasho semjen tamche dejin ge parasho Mendan sendo chenla je parasho rajin dene ringe do parasho Chanchen ge wade korwa ngen son dong chon Sitsoro larya mene jen chamche kusum ngunjuro sho Gelwa kunge sanchen je lame choke temba de Chitara kala nishar chen gyal kan yong la darange sho Tsawa de dang gewe tsawa shen da jan kene pelden lame tubo yong su zobe yenden dan den bara gyuro Sangye ke temba rimbo chen darjin ge bara jebe ke bo tonden du gyuro Kimbadan tsewa nuba sum thara chinle zobe sangye su juro chi. Jowa re juna nebe semjen tamje korwa dunga ge janso jalte. Nyurdu bara zomba sangye bara juro chi. Doroje Chanchen Nenchen Chin Tawe Lama Yen Cheke Drove Dendo Okay. Maho tsu gyuzen pemen dombo la kunga yeshen tungen drube la rangjong chenpo pema yabyum ne kandro chengpong chengla sewa de samba nudu druba jinje lo lengen chebe namen to kepe nenden bache matro muge so keje jembe mela seje Shajen ningne kulo ujenje samba nudu druba jinje lo dang surjem dang la gomba dang tebe juje chali mo cha chala benzon sobe no dembo semjen gunge jula rang jo ni jeten de ke dembra ujenje samba nudu druba jinje lo bang ne dang dunge me de ken jumbo den dang gelbo cheba Meche chenzen lam zhang jikpa che tseyen pantara tu pen ne ka kun chanda re sa shendo ma che pen tu je song je guru wu jen je. Samba nu du rupa jenge lo di sum sangye guru rinpo che ngodro kunda dewa chenpe cha. Parchen kunze duden rambo ze sewa devso jenge lap tu se chena sangye pache che wada. Sambal hingen rupa jingen lo som sangye guru rinpo chen ngodro kunda dewa chenpe shap. Barchen Kunze, Dudun, Ramboze, Sewa, Depso, Jingen, Labdose, China, Same, Barchen, Shiva, Samba, Lungen, Rumba, Jingen, Lo, Sange, Kungen, O, Kadenche, Ugen, Rimbo, Chala, Sewa, Namje, Zede, Nawa, Numanta, Pema, Vedu, Kevara, Jingen, Lo, Sange, Kosum, Bejen Labdan, Chene, Major, Dembe, Jenlab. Geden mechen dube jenla ke jetang o chen melam drum para sho. Om swasti ye yin dama meshe doje so tab jo je cha ma ga ning je dang song jo he ru ka ben te jen. Ta song gong ba de ba yin ne kul ngon ze gong ne la sam tu ten pe tu ju pe ma ka re ring lo che min yam pe la tu ke da der ngọc sang rik ba zin ba she be she do do pa wo gang ke tur tong o su ke ba de de ke ma hu ben dang shuk jong ngon gom tu je zen ga me den jong tu dang da cha ro de sum yo me dang be andar shar tu be da jen nur do charwa ne den ro gom bong dam par jen sen de lu me gon jo za sum den tu da da so je je se wa da be de geng me ye jen ru ze sa ma ya om so ste sang ge pe me tu je da dong ze mo sa zhe ben ge za shen ba le ro du ge we sha gen da zhe ko ka zan du je se nam bal du sha ru ze nyu ge sang zun ye jen wa zel me chen le de go rab jo we sa sum ke go re wa kong jen do yong ro da ben o sha den se Yunjo zazun janzo dendo dang de nga dam chen cham zhe to zeng ge da cha men pe den zhen lung ge zhu. Zhou den lao chen ge me da ran chen shom so ste. Ten yo so zan de chen dor je ru zhub ze chi me nyu me ye she sem du dur pe ma te zhen he ru ge na se zen nen se wan jin chen. Jig me nga ge wan chu ken ze ter zap san nur bu ze shang dor je zing tong me chen len nam bar gel we de sang sun mi she ta bar zo je we ma la da nga da chi de ye tu je gong me tu ke dam che tar nik du ten da ro we pu nen du yo me dor je ngo ro ten ju se me zang la sam ge we sa wen gan de ne lu me de shri ge ge de che dar men ba je za yur za we sa sum tra she pe ge ze ju ro che Om swasti gewa choyang yeshe jume chu jume lingpe yang se rabdro pa gochen gel tru sanga tenzin cho kutse dan tenze chen rab ge shom swasti tsala rizin chanso ngo ni chime tsoke dorje jinlake dungse janna karja shabten chen labshen den re she den thara chen sho Om Amarani Dzivende Swaha Om Swasti Lume Chamne Janso Jintu Ye Jingme Tupten Trinle Palbaragi Shape Mishe Kaja Rabden Lapchen Dendro Sheden Tar Chen Sho Om Swasti Duchu Chiche Temba Zimbe Dading Ri Wandu Choke Trupeku Kutse Site Bardo Rabden Shempen Leje Chinle Lhendro Sho Lama kukam zamvara sevade, chondo kuse rinvara sevade. Chinle darjin ge bara sevade, lama dan drewa me bara jingi lo. Tende jungwe ne jikpo, tenpa yunre ne badan, tenpa zimbe ke bunam. Kuse gel sen den juru chi, donga shutse, tsangla manorwa, keshen rubne rikzen jupese. Tupten nyingpo sanga nga jurpe tenpa pelge zamling chab juru che. Peme ringlo nga juru zomba che nge ten nyingpo shingda du jomling. Kange zabder tenpa site bar minu shedan drupe zen juru che. Ken lo che son ringlo che. Zamle sason chapara pel Drunju choson nawadam Midra deson gele sho. Allahu, everybody. Auspicious Dakini Day to you all. Tashidalik. Okay, let's see. Oops. Okay, so it's an auspicious day to begin our Zhitro practice. Let's see. And 한개 나셔. 아니 미기 민드 슬랍 시카가도. Yeah, 가가도. 네. Ben, Michelle, Nancy, Alexander. Tele an comment. Alexander took out the comment.
Joseph
Matthew. Heidi, Ani Sharab me. Ani Sharab.
Linda.
Shamil. Thomas. Daniel. Jason. Foster. Lisa. Linda or Lisa? Lisa Armstrong.
Hi.
Belinda, Charles, Nick. Okay.
Jeff and Steve.
Shane got you me last.
Shane case is something.
Shane.
And Jeff and Steve. You know, Frederick.
Frederick. Okay, good. Me under tada. Okay, so
Oh, Godzilla is there.
oh, Godzilla is there. Let's see. Thế nào sẽ đồng tên, nào sẽ lấy xong biệt tên. 야츠는 Tsok Pabada. Thank you. Yeah, couple lagi majimena sididi. Atsuwashan paraya bolkar jastu. Blessings.
Dakini blessings.
Dakini blessings. Tenzing yikcho no ma yikcho. Rako. Kutsuk pendanda. Omupi yikcho. Nongchona. Bustel jimba. Pakatalinga nakatsude. Okay. So, hello everybody. So, this teaching of Zhitro comes from the primordial Buddha, then to the sixth Buddha family, Vajradhara, and then onward down to Garab Dorje and so forth. These teachings of the Zhitro is embedded in secrecy in the 64,000 tantras, and then of course to summarize those, then we talk about the 17 great tantras. These are actually hidden in between the lines of all of these tantras. So Garab Dorje is considered to be the first human master who received these teachings, and then thereon he transmitted. And Shri Singha was the one who actually brought forth or emphasized this, and these teachings were later received by Guru Rinpoche. Of course, Guru Rinpoche, he had already manifested the nature of Zhitro. Guru Rinpoche is none other than the principal one of the mandala. But yet, in order to bring conviction in the mindsets of sentient beings, then Guru Rinpoche had to once again demonstrate, or had to go look for a teacher and then do all of those. Actually a drama, it's actually an enactment, that he went in search of lamas and then received these teachings, practiced these teachings, brought forth the realization of these teachings, or the achievement or accomplishment of these teachings, like that. So Guru Rinpoche brought these teachings to Tibet, and then while Guru Rinpoche was in Tibet, we talk about the 25 hard disciples of Guru Rinpoche, particularly King Trisong Detsen, Dakini Sogal, and the translators and so forth. They requested Guru Rinpoche for the teaching so condensed that was easy to put it into practice, that would overcome all of the obstacles and bring forth accomplishment. And then they requested for this Zhitro teachings. And Guru Rinpoche actually mentioned that there is such a teaching, but the time is not right. But he gave just the secret name of these teachings called Zhitro Gongpa Rangdro. It's called the profound teachings of the awakened intent of the peaceful and wrathful mandalas. Yeah. Zhitro Gongpa Rangdro. That right at this time is not actually the time to give these teachings in public. Then he prophesied that these teachings would be revealed later. And then he concealed these teachings, and then later Karma Lingpa revealed these teachings. And even when he revealed these teachings, he wanted to transmit these teachings, but the teachings were guarded so secretly that he wasn't granted the permission to transmit these teachings in the public. So he transmitted to his he had about 14 students, of whom most renowned was his own son, and to him he transmitted the teachings. And his son still didn't have the permission to transmit these teachings in an open way. So he transmitted to his son. And then his son even didn't get the permission from the Dakinis, because the Dakinis were the keepers of these secret teachings, that they didn't permit the teachings to be given in public. And then his student practiced Zhitro for a long time. Then sometime around the end of his life, then the Dakinis granted him permission, and these teachings then became this teaching spread in in a mass scale. Until then, this teaching was practiced one-to-one, was practiced and transmitted in one-to-one, like that. So the Dakinis were the one who kept the secret of this teaching. So today we did Dakini Tsok. I think now we are granted the permission to do the teaching. So Monday nights we are going to do the Zhitro teaching from Karma Lingpa. And initially I took it easy. I thought it was already translated in this red book. But I found out that when I went through my Tibetan original and compared with what's translated, and I found that the main sadhana wasn't translated. So, and the main sadhana, and there are so many elements within that comes along with the main sadhana. All of those are not there. So what I was thinking to do on Monday class was still way behind. So I'm almost through the main sadhana. And then the one that we sent out today, just as an auspicious dependent condition or dependent connection, that I sent you all, so that we would have something tonight to hold in our hands, or that we could see on this auspicious Dakini day. So, and we had always been thinking of doing the Karmeling by Zhitro, and we went through the teachings of Karmeling Zhitro for a long time. We took lots of aspects of the teachings. Generally, Karma Lingpa's teachings on Wednesday, I'll talk more about that one, but today, since the beginning, Karma Lingpa's teaching, this cycle of teaching is called the Shito Gongpa Rangru. That's the title. The translator uses enlightened intent and so forth. I use awakened intent and so forth. So his teachings are classified into the generation stage, which is the practice of the Zhitro, the generation stage. The accomplishment of the Zhitro practice, the Zhitro mandala, as the creation generation practice. And then the completion stage practice, which entail the 6 bardos, the teachings on the 6 bardos. Those are the ones. And then the great completion teachings are there, like the introduction to Rigpa and so forth. Those are like that. So we have been doing a few sections of those like that. And along with that one, we had different Zhitro that we had been doing. We were doing a sadhana based on the secret essence tantra that we did for a long, long time. And then our goal was to do this Karma Lingpa Zhitro. So most of our older students are quite familiar with the Zhitro mandala. And for those of you who are new, then you'll have to vigorously study the mandala. So you have to diligently study the mandala. What is taught here in the Zhitro teaching is what the secret tantra mentions, that samsara and nirvana is the word, is the self-display of awakened mind. Samsara is the display of confused mind. Nirvana, or awakened Buddhahood, is the display of primordial wisdom. So I want to correct that statement. It says samsara and Buddhahood are the self-display of mind and primordial wisdom. That is the summary of the Secret Essence Tantra. Just like, our dream example is the perfect one. I really like the dream example because, Buddha Shakyamuni used that, and it's easy for us to relate to. It's a very effective metaphor. Just like in our dream, whatever we see, like the demons or the gods or whatever we see in our dream, it is encompassed by that sleep state. None of those fall off from our sleep state. Likewise, samsara, whatever we experience, is encompassed within that mind, that confused mind or whatever. And then Buddhahood is the self-display of primordial wisdom. Buddhahood is the self-display of primordial wisdom. So that's the thing. And then in order for us to actualize or to realize that one, then the the Tantra of the mirror of Vajrasattva, and the Tantra of this secret essence, Tantra Guhya Garbha. And so they emphasize practicing this one. This is the extract. Zhitro is the extract. So like Guru Rinpoche was asked for this very handy, easy to practice, and then Guru Rinpoche mentioned about this one. And now in order for us to put it into practice, there are few things that are essential. So you receive the empowerment, which is one of the factors of that one. And then we need to also receive the Tantra, the source Tantra, like the Secret Essence Tantra or one of the 17 Tantras and so forth like that. And then we need now the key of those Tantra. We need the sadhana. We need a practice based on that one. So we talk about, the Tantras always talk about the absolute pure nature and so forth. But in order for us to actualize or to engage it, then we need some kind of manual or some kind of practice. So then Zhitro sadhana is that. And these sadhanas are based or handed down through lineages by lamas who have actually accomplished these practices. And then in order for those accomplishment to happen, and there are key points, there are these, it's called mengak, it's like the keys, the pith instructions of those. So these 4 factors have to be there in order to bring forth the accomplishment. So we in the West, we are used to doing short sadhanas, doing short practices and so forth. And then when we think of this long practice, then we feel like, feel bored or we feel discouraged, thinking might be too long and so forth. But actually this sadhana is essential for us to learn in its entirety. We always talk about the daily practice of Zhitro and so forth. The daily practice are actually for those practitioners who have actually done the longer sadhanas. They have accomplished, they have got signs of those accomplishments. And then for them, they just need a reminder. So then just a few lines of those recitation, immediately they can rest within the mandala and so forth like that. That's how we need to actually understand daily practice. Daily practice does not mean it's a short way of practicing, but it is for those who have firstly accomplished, and then for them to keep it going, then that short sadhana has been used. So what was I trying to tell you? Okay. So these practice that I'm compiling now, so I thought it would be easy for me to just take out from that one. It's a big project, so probably by the next class, next Monday, we should have something. Okay, now I remember what I was trying to tell you. Okay, so in this tantra, it talks about the mandala that is present or innate within us. And then usually, it's mentioned the 5 aggregates introduced as the 5 Buddha families, the 5 male Buddhas. and then the elements that we perceive and so forth as the female Buddhas and so forth. So the 5 aggregates, now we need to learn what the 5 aggregates are. So the aggregate of form, you kind of understand what is form. Form is anything that has to do with like shape, size, color. That's form. And then the other aggregate is called feeling or perception. Feeling is one. And then there is the aggregate of perception. And then the other one is called the aggregate of mental formation, which is kind of used by translators as mental formation, but it's actually referred to our mental events, what's arising from our mind, like all our emotions. So, and then the consciousness, aggregate of consciousness, like that. So in our ordinary habit, samsaric habit, we have these names. We have given them these different names. But actually in the Tantra, it has a Buddha name. So then what we see as ordinary through our this samsaric habitual mind is being introduced in the Tantra as the Buddha. And that is the mandala. So we need to learn that one. So in here, in this sadhana, this is what is shown. And then when we practice in that way, then we can actualize the mandala. So that's the intent of the practice of Zhitro. So these teachings, like I was saying, although when we compile together, it will be a very thick book. So might be a little bit discouraging, thinking that, oh, we might not be able to do. But it's quite done quickly because it's chanted quite fast. And so we'll find out how long it takes to go through the entire sadhana. If it takes too long, then we'll break the sadhana in between our class. So maybe on one Monday we'll do one fraction of the sadhana, and next Monday we would skip that which we did the previous Monday, and then we'll go on from there like that. So, and this is just to refresh those older students who already are familiar with the mandala, and then for those newer students, then it will be a way to initiate into the mandala. So that's the practice of Zhitro. This practice begins with the preliminaries and then goes on, and then all of the elements of the sadhana will also be explained on the Wednesday class. So Wednesday class will be like supporting class for the sadhana. So, and just to not waste our time tonight, so let us do this recitation. So you have the text, yeah? The one that we sent out? Mm-hmm. yeah. Yeah, this is very short, so let's do this one. Okay, everybody. So think of all motherly sentient beings, and then particularly think of our Lama to invoke their blessings so that we can enter into this mandala, and also to please the Dakini so they grant us the permission to engage in this profound path. So we supplicate and then we bring our altruistic intention, and then think of all sentient beings to awaken to the state of the innate nature, which is Buddhahood, the precious Buddhahood. And there is a melody for this one, which is the melody like the, the Menlam. There's like the aspirational prayers, Menlam. Just a moment. So those of you who are watching on YouTube, I guess the sadhana wasn't sent to you because this sadhana is only meant for those students who are going to do the Zhitro. So if you want to just hang around and then listen to the chanting, you may do so. Otherwise, you can log out or sign out and then rest for the evening. And then we'll see you soon. Okay. Shortly. Wait. Yeah. In just a moment. What's all the done? Malabaching or not, then Papa. Complete me. Share number, the Kamazipala. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Kema Kyo Golden Rikimbo, Mari Timo Wange Manemba, Sendo Garke, Data Yolonda, Tome Dinendala Tukim, Mari Wange Nilion de Choge, Dani Manuel Gosum Gelaibe, Kegana Che, Dunga Mishe Sam, Derin Sayan Tobe Gokam. Trula Zendru Keben de la Ban, Dari Chipu Tende Drub de Der, Nyomleng ala Debe de Mayen, Chiwa Somla Druba Taruka. Sela Lome Chicken Same Chai, Ditse Mesre Denje Matobna, Kebu Keni Simba Cheje Roy, Chenam Same Donjin Chedan. Juma Migjo Milam Zunen Dan, Drize Dronker Dacha Taburuche, Chuda Chuburu Migo Druban Soy, Cheja Jume Pechu Dejin. Kode Chenam Keke Shebarage, Chenam Ranjin Kewai Me Bate, Neme Game, Do Me Bao, Mime Tsema Mejin Samjer. Dendi Dombara Javende Lahamba, Namo Guru Be, Namo Taki Be, Namo Dewa Be, Namo Taki Be. Kema Mita Korwai Che, Tarme Leke Janso Dong Ring Der, Leke Norway, Donam Ningre Je, Dunge Janso Kembara Jengel. Mari Leke Norway, Drowanam, Dewa Dechere Dunge Lelache. Tami Kepe Donam Ningre Je, Nenmo Lede Dala Dakara Jinja. Tade Zunzin Chimbe Zenra Dire, Rida Jatsur Larian Juba Dar, Mari Timu Chenam Ningre Je, Korwa Donne Drobara Jengelo. Tarme Lege Donkara Drobo Dere, Chigne Chitu Zochu Kyomo Jin, Tarme Korwe Dronam Ningre Je Rigro Kego Chebra Jenjel Kega Nadan Chidwe Dungal Nam Chizam Tongya Mi Je Ning Chen Chen Yang Ma Lam La Deljuro Mise Ze Meta Chiwe Dembara Gengelo Mitolo te me paramashe sam dadung korwa de na chen ching cha ki de gang la mi se du ge da korwa chen ba lo para chen chen ne ge jig de me ta me chu je chu ge sem chen me ta lu sem de yar gun chi de nam da tu me ta cho she ting ne ka wara chen chen Nani dalo namda te me da shadan nin tsen ke che du me ta lek bara samna rani chiwe to drobla ning ro nu para jenjel terjo din ne shinto ne ka yang chida ne ki ne wara te pe se che me dron nam tong Dejo dini shundu neka yang chida neke ne wara tabe tse che me dron nam tong ro ning re je long me jula ke wara jen je ke ma ke ho konjo tu je chen ge wa ke la tse we tu dam pe tu nga we da so re dro kor wara dung le da ta ni do tar wara jen ge lo Kamzon Rigdro Taye Semjen Nayan Deda Majen Dada De Sumdu Chunche Me Paradrola Gonze Be Lama Namla Chatse Chapsuch Kani Zowo Tsendan Peje Den Chinle Meze Namke Tadanya Chocho Duje Deshe Chomden De Sange Namla Chatse Chapsuch Shiwa Chadre Dendam Dembe Che Tekba Sumge Chirme Dobela Katere Lungdan Yenla Tenche So Damche Namla Chatse Chapsuch Mano lamne tsocho kunge shin nyanmo drime rawen pa bes chamsen nen ra gewe tenzin choi gede namla chatsu chapsu chi dusum sangye kunge ngo ne sangwa lame kyo koro kunge tso chenla tuje dro kun tenze pe lama namla chatsu chapsu chi choku keme trepe thadra yang rowe denchir shidang chojo choro jo chodan tume nge dro teze pe yidam namla chatsu chapsu Chene kala tuje shukin ro dabe ne de chen chok zalwe damche damse chen la ngen ro te ze ba kan ro chola chapsal chapsu che yene tone zhedan zhewa la ngo ranjen tuje kane da nyam zo long yang chen bo ranjen la zime lo den andu chapsu che Tundro ranje yene kunge da ingre ton se tile kyo korodo Rangri vese dorje lugu jo tome ranse jembra chapso che maga ranse kuncha tuje chen shadro game rise rol pes tome ngane dolo munse wai desum toda me para chapso kema chen nam tamche tongje dame chan de tarma to semche ning reje ningje ne nam jangchu topje che dagi go sumge la kulora Dodo Simchen Gunge Denge Chere Dengne Zonte Jancho Mato Bar Takchi Mayen Drokun Denge Chere Jancho Choto Semni Ke Paraja Dungal Janso Pato Mepe Nair Rangi Rang Chen Chimening Reje Ningje Nenan Dela Geje Chere Jancho Choto Semni Ke Paraja Tadan Taye Drowa Simchen Nan Yene Sange Rangjin Yimbala Yimbara Shepe Dani Chemboru Jancho Choto Semni Ke Paraja Jiden korwe janso juma jen duje tamche taba ma yinte ngo tongwa dame yimba la de taramato jipa de dagnam Tendre chunne sebe korwa cham mingdang suke damla chakba nam sangye topche dagi ludang a yidang sumpo ge la kulwara cha sangye chedang tsoke chonnam la jansho bardo dani chapso che dagi chenso gebe senam ge dola pencher sangye drobar Taye drowa semchen jinne pa malu jembe lamra da juru che semchen damche dedan den juru che kunja dunge ju dan juru che dunge me pe dedan den juru che changdan me pe tanyo ne juru che jitsu pe de den den do lama do je sembe ko kondo shende tuka ne ta ten hong la yik je ko tu zi chu jong changbu bab Dani namcha digre dan shomden palden doje semba ye dan dan roe semche malip digre jongje yeshe dutse jun tate ni do dan la tse do se on benzer sado samaya manu palaya benzer sado teno kontes sado do mem Sudokaya meba, subokaya meba, norado meba, sarva siddhi meba, sarva kama suzami siddham shirem kuru hum ha 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 hu bhagavan. Sarva tata gata benzer mame munza benzer bhava maha samaya sato dani mishiti mo mombayi tamze sonsam le ne kalji. Nyam lama gombo keki chabze che zo palden dorje zembat tuje zembe zewe dani chen rowe zowe daso chabze che tigre ne ton jime choche kun malu chanshin da barazedos kewa diye nyurdo dani chan doje semba dengder rubjurne rowa chikchang malu pa deye sala nyudo kebarasho 도저 semba ke go chidang khodang ko tse tse dang shingam dang ke ge chen cho sambo chidawa de da kona da so jo wara sho om banzar bhumi a hun she la wang jo serge sa je jo om banzar ke a hun chira rin chen chari ko lyug jo yusu re ga ri wo choram ne rin chen nang ale drul hun chan ne yeble zena je sing tana do bala sege re de ro se din ge kor Shaldo le paloro zambolin, nubdo balanche ge lingi ken, chando dami ningi lingchen la lu dan lu pa nga yab yoden lam cho do dan dami ningi da dan lingchen ge, nima da wa da chen du me pe, dan lame longche paljor pinso de, lama konche kordan che la be, tuje rowe den du she su se, om ma hon, chena ne cho tong song she ye so, rab lingche dul ne che chin tip, lama longche pa me jin ne pa, lama konche trugu shing du, tukje zewe gongde shen ne chan, drogun trugu shing de ke wara sho, om ma hon, rang lu zakam da be she li so, wangbo nam ge ta dan dan ki gen, 감당 견체 용수 다바데 라마 건초 롱고 싱도 투제 제와라 공데 셴네 장 로근 롱고 싱도 게 와라쇼 오마호 셈젠 셈니 체고 다베셜레소 미메 동제 지멘 안두네 데네 다베 뇨마 예셴데 라마 건초 체고 싱도 버 투제 제와라 공데 셴네 장 로근 체고 싱데 게 와라쇼 오마호 Nijimin Zambo de Bewe, Chancho Lomla Barchemi Jonshin, Tisum Deshe, Comba Toba Dan, Siba Metro Shivariminesh. Namka Dan Yambe, Drowa Wara Isho, Maho, Mahaguru Deva Dakini, Ratnamendala Puza Mega, Samudra Savarana, Samaya. Omaho, Tome Gombo Cheku Gundu Zan, Drubadani. Rubadani gelwa dorje chan dembe zo tujo dorje sem gelwa gomba jubala sewa de trube ke chori zengarab dan gewa se choguru shiri sing torje kunye chime pema jon sanga de den khandro chogel rizen riba jubala sewa de zatrenga da karma lingpa dan tuke se choj cheje chenchen dan nigdu drogin surya chandra sen kanza ningun jubala sewa de cheke da boja zen nam kach Rimne dento senam yezer dan tsoni tarchen punya shirij. Tenin lundu senam chechon wa dusum denchon natso rangsar rol kamson rogen kunga dra bebe kuson rigde tonga tenzin nangji kongre chinle lundu tse kuje wancho jor me doje de wancho denten lochen dharmashi gewe sebo rinchen nambarage. Trubeke jobe manten zenda rize dunzu karma bizaya de tong lenge chinle cheke ten kabab dunden doje zezet cheni ngoze jormenge den wang mendro longze du jomdro dulleng nang tong yerme yidam shito dang kandro che chon dam chen jan tsu tsu sasun la so nam la se wa de kan la kandu ka ju la ma nam keke tenpa shindu nam na ndu dirke be nerjo yipam Togun korwe damne dangdu se menga dungwe nga roke ben ha ngenge damcha nyempo dal gongla khayen long ne tsembe zishal tense togun korwe damne dangdu se dakton sangbe sunge dadro nam keke tuze terge gochen ne kenra tuje weze rabge ne togun korwe damne dangdu se dute dro nam alu dadro che namda wanshi chuo da kurche nemo tulbe jushe da tolchik Trokham korwa damne dangdu se deshe kuje debu Ke debu da che taye pama kanam simjen na malu demba lamar da che dokon kora damne drang do so till this part is very much like more like every day when we're doing like a short wondro. So this is from the 4-session yoga. So it has from the mind training to refuge bodhicitta, and then the vajra sattva, like that. So, and here on page 29, this also in between here you will see how the lineage comes from here. This is Chabjadujunabhish's lineage, and also in between, like in the Drigung Kaju, there is a lineage. It kind of I think it splits from one, it's from Karma Chagme, but the other one, which is closer here, it's from Karma Bijaya. Is the one. There is another one, Rinchen. I'm trying to see other Rinchen Nambargal. Yeah, that's the one from Rinchen Nambargal. It kind of splits. And this one is the Kusum Longyang. So it's a supplication prayer that we have to insert here. Before this one, there is a Guru Yoga. This part is the Guru Yoga, but then there is the 4 empowerment, which is kind of pushed further down because we insert this supplication in here. This part this part is not included in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. So, okay, page 29. Oma ho namda che yin chabda long yang ne che ko kondo sambo la ma che long yang ne sewa de kada lundo ne jinje la ma che yin lundo long yang ne che ko long ko dorje chang chen la ma ga ke ga yer me ne sewa de chen lundo ne jinje ka me sel da tik le long yang ne che ko tru ko dorje semba la rik dong yer me ne sewa de nang dong lundo ne jinje la Rana Gyobal Hundo Longyane, Longo Cheko Namnang Gangchen La Nato Yerming, Nesawan de Donald Hundrong and the Ginger Lord, Sedal Hundo de Chen Longyane, Longo Ringa Sangela, Seldon Yerming on the Sawa de Chen Hundrong and the Ginger Lord. Yanda Rana Yeshe Longyane, Longo Cheko Chana Dorjela, Taton Yerming on the Sawa de Yedo Longyang on the Ginger Lord. Rana Yeshe Vese Longyang ne Tuku Cheko Dorje Sembala Denton Yerming Hane Sewa de Shadro Longyang Hane Jinjelo Rana Tredel Hundo Longyang ne Tuku Longo Resungombola Randol Hundo Hane Sewa de Kenzel Hundo Hane Jinjel Rana Game Natso Longyang ne Tuku Tujendu Bola Toso Randol Hane Sewa de Natso Randol Hane Jinjel Time Pema Yeke Longyang ne Zuke truku pema jungen la zungju de chen ne sewa de zebal hundru ne jinjelo de chen yeshen hundru long ne machi khando yeshe tsogel la tapshe yerme ne sewa de dana lundu ne jinjelo Rangde yeshe tudere long ne terden truku jupe lama la megyu dungwe ne sewa de game tuje ne jinjelo Chen Katara Dabe Long ne Zapche Shido Gong Parang Rolla, Mite Chabde ne Sewa de Rangro Long ne Jinjilo. Rangna Daba Kunjin Long Yang ne Kadrin Korme Tsawe Lama la, Deme Drabo ne Sewa de Rangsin Cheko Long ne Jinjil. Maha Nu Ati Yoga Sum Cheku Sum Cho Sum La Selwa de Chabde Long Yang ne Jinjilo, Kriya Upa Yagdang. Yoga sum longo sungcho sum la sewa de kezo yerme ngane jinjelo dolwa dode ngompa dene sum truko sungcho sum la sewa de Doden hundro ngane jinjelo tegu gompa tobe tu jesu duche tenan dune sangete cheko korso namla sewa kozo keran taburu jinjelo sajo janjo semba pamede longo kozo namla sewa de kozo keran taburu jinjelo Chanse nente deje la soba, truko kozo namla sewa de, kozo keran taburu jinje lo. Mapa yonzo keme tredandre, cheku togon tokbar jinje lo, naso minne sevdon ranje me, Donko toko tokpara jinje lo jime senge power do laso. Tuko tukon tokpara jinje lo shingam jikten namke garcha pa cheko durje dagi topara sho shidani bo meto gembe shing. Longo durje dagi topa sho nando mi je je wa ta jaro kangla gando tulne denje pe tuko durja dagi topara sho. Lama yabyum chizu ne omkaraya zara danche pa taki minsam je puro ba bumam tomne leje kuyeng dru zendo se. Page 38. That from the crown of the spiritual teacher in union with consort, a white syllable om radiating rays of light descend to the midpoint between my eyebrows. The vase empowerment is thus received and the obscuration of the body are purified. Please confer upon me the accomplishment of Buddha body. Lama yabyun jimba ne amara zer danche ba dagi cheye wangboro ba sangwan tomne ngagde sunge ngedro zendo se. Page 39, third line. From the throat of the spiritual teacher in union with consort, a red syllable R radiating rays of light descend to the sense of my tongue. The secret empowerment is thus received and the obscurations of speech are purified. Please confer upon me the accomplishment of Buddha's speech. Lama yabyum toka ne hongte zeradanche ba dage ningere kildo ba yeshe wanto yededa tuking yedru zendo. Back to page 39, 3 lines from the bottom. From the heart of the spiritual teacher in union with consort, a blue syllable hung radiating rays of light descend into the center of my heart. The empowerments of pristine cognition is thus received, and the obscurations of mind are purified. Please confer upon me the accomplishment of Buddha mind. Lama yabyum tewane shimara zer danche ba daki tewe kildo ba gosum tade zinde dak yermen lenke wan shi to. From the navel of the spiritual teacher in union with consort, a red syllable tree radiating rays of light descends to the center of my navel. The obscurations which differentiates between body, speech, and mind are purified, and the fourth empowerment of indivisible co-emergence is received. Those are the 4 empowerments. Palden zawe lama rinpoche dage ningarai pe me zedrola dralwa me para tambara shune chan kajin chenpo gone jesonte kusun tuki ngedro zendo se palden lama keko chidradan kodan kuse sedan shingamdan keke zensho sangpo chidrawa tedra kona daso juro wara sho. Read that one. Page 43 lines from bottom. O glorious and precious root spiritual teacher, be indivisibly present, seated on the pistil of a lotus within my heart forever. Through your great kindness, favor me with your acceptance, and please confer upon me the accomplishments of Buddha body, speech, and mind. May we become exactly like you, glorious spiritual teacher, exactly resembling you in body, retinue, lifespan, purums, and in your supreme and excellent major marks. That's the end of the preliminaries. That ends, and then hereafter, then we enter into the main sadhana. That's the main practice. So in order for us to enter into the main practice, this is what we need to learn to do. It's like it's like a preliminaries. And then here, just to give you an idea what is in the Zhitro. So you have on page 41. 41, and then I think that it starts. There's the footer says Bumba consecration for Karlan Zhitro Sadhana. So the language here that Chulme Dorji here he has used is a little bit kind of, I know, uncomfortable for a practitioner. Like, you know, here Guru is translated as spiritual teacher, like that. So it's, I think he wanted to make it clear for those people who read this who are not who were non-Buddhist and so forth. But for practitioner, it's a little bit difficult. And then also there's some words here. It's a little bit kind of awkward to read that as practitioner. So okay, so here, just to give you an idea, now in order to practice Zhitro, then it is a practice of what we call as taking the empowerment onto the path. So you all received empowerment from Garchen Rinpoche. That is called the empowerment of the basis. The empowerment of the basis. What is within us innately has been introduced by our Lama. In the Tantra, empowerment is given this metaphor, like a king's son goes in a marketplace or in a big carnival or a fair and gets lost. And then the king's son is lost and nobody can find. And the king's son thinks he is an ordinary person. But later on, some minister finds, and then the king's son is brought back to the palace and then enthroned as the king. That's empowerment is like that. Empowerment account goes like that. So that Zhitro empowerment that you received from your Lama, and many of you who received from Garchen Rinpoche this time, is what is called as the basis, the empowerment of the basis, and which now grants us the authority to put this into practice. So every day, in order for us to practice this Zhitro sadhana, there are a few things that we need to have, like the mandala of the Zhitro, and then like bell and Vajra and bell and Damaru is important, and then you have to have what is called as this bumpa, like this one is bumpa. Okay, let me make this one a little bit bigger so that you can see. This is the bumpa. That one. Now you have to consecrate. This is used for so many activities. So to do that one, this bumpa consecration is very important. And in here too, you will kind of get an idea of what is within the bumpa. So I will read this one first and then we'll all read in English. Om Banzaram Rita Gundali Hana Hana Hum Per Om Sabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Sabhava Shuddha Hung Tong Benganle Pamle Pemata Ale Dawi Kilkurgi Tengdo Dumle Rimboche Bumba Yangjin Jachewa Shav Jumba Toderwa Trimba Trawa Kayalwa Chu Changwa Laze Gyoge Gulching Dang Paksam Gi Shingi Kagen Bab Chi Bumba Ibla Nang Shile Kang Chudan Chu Tamchigi Yongsu Gangwe Usu Sengel Langchen Tachu Maja Shangshang Nide Peme Den La Chom Den De Rik Nga Yabyum La Rangrangi Sempa Dang Seman Namgi Korwe Chiral Du Kunzang Yabyum Dang Tupa Duke Korwa Gojir Goa Yabyum Ge Dang Tengi Namkaru Tutre Medri Barwe Yusu Thakdung Chowen La So Nam Nang La Ranji Me Par Seven Nam Ka Chur Om Dimbar A Tuka Hong De Le Zerche Gompa Dang Tawe Yeshe Pa Chen Dang Banzar Sama Za Rani Kunza Yabyum Ge Tuka Hong Le Zer Jungba Sungtal La Tilde Song Bumban Thazon Nam Ge Tuk Karapok Tudam Ge Ju Kulwe Jotsam Ne Duzik Karmar Ki Jumba Pe Bumba Gang Nang Gang Wara Juro. So okay, go to that page, Bumba consecrations. So if you buy this kind of Bumpa, or if you have already, when you're doing this practice, you can empty your old Bumpa water into the plants, or if you have a river nearby, you can take it to the river, or if you go to the ocean, you can take this Bumpa water, so you don't dump it in the drain or like that, because it's already blessed and you can connect with so many beings like that. So, and then for this practice, you have to wash it clean and then fill it new, so like that. And then there are 25 Bumpa substances if you have like that. And so then the mantra to cleanse and purify is, it says, cleanse the Bumpa with Om Vajraka Amrita Kundali Hana Hana Home Pet. Then Om Sabha, purify with the mantra Om Sabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Sabhava Shuddha Hang. Then from the continuum of emptiness, upon a lotus arisen from Pam, and moon from Ah. So from emptiness, there are these syllables arising, emanating magically. So from Pam, lotus rises, from Ah, moon. And then, so then from Drum Sit syllable arises this Bumpa. Jewel is a jewel Bumpa arisen from Drum, which is vast, spacious. Its base is round, the belly is protruding, the neck is slender, the mouth rim is kind of expanded, and the spout curved. It has a necktie. I don't have the necktie, but usually you can put like a collar or like a scarf or ribbon or something like that. And a wish-fulfilling tree adorning the mouth. So that's traditional way of how it started from Shri Singhai and so forth like that. So in India. Chi Bumpa Yib. So that says outer shape is Bumpa. The outer shape is Bumpa, but inside it's a palace. It's completely filled with water and all essences. So there are 25 essences usually made as the Bumpa substances. There are 5 jewels, 5 medicine, 5 grains, 5 extracts, or 5 how do you like saying the 5 what's the word, essential oil or those kind of thing, essences. And then in the center, on lotus, sun, and moon seat, above lions, elephants, horses, peacocks, and shangshangs, are the Yab and Yum, conqueror of the 5 families, surrounded by the male and Yab and Yum, referring to the male and female, surrounded by their male bodhisattvas and female bodhisattvas. Outside of that is Kunzang Yabyum and the 6 Munis, and the 8 Yaps and Yum door protectors and protectresses. In the sky above are the charnel grounds enclosed with blazing fire. Amidst that are the deity assemblies of the wrathful Herukas. They are visualized as appearing but without intrinsic reality. On their forehead is Om, in their throats Ah, and in their hearts Hung, radiating light that invite wisdom deities just like the ones visualized, becoming a Vajra assembly. And I myself am Kunzang Yabyum, light then, in order for this to be consecrated. So once inside the Bumpa that we visualize in that way, and then this light from the 3 syllables go out to the Akanishta Pure Ram and invite the wisdom Zhitro deities. Now, what we are visualizing is some kind of commitment and conceptualized wisdom deity, but then we are actually inviting the absolute wisdom deity from the Akanishta, and thereby they come and then merge inseparably. And then we visualize that from the heart here, I myself am Kunzang Yabyum, light arising from Hung in my heart. Then then this light glides on the mantra chord or the dharani chord and strike the hearts of the deities inside the Bumpa, invoking the stream of wisdom intent, stream of white and red bodhicitta flowing from the junction of their union fill the Bumpa. So then you can go Om Ahum Bodhicitta Mahasuka Janadato Om Rulu Hung Jo Hung. That mantra of the Zhitro is recited to consecrate like that. And then finally we visualize that all of the deities turn into, their form turns into molecules of water, and then they dissolve inseparably into the water. And then this Bumpa now works as the activity Bumpa to consecrate or to purify or to do all of the other things like that. So this is like the preliminaries. Well, as we go along the sadhana, we will learn more about that. So today I think that's good enough. Did anyone have any question related to Zhitro practice or?
Rinpoche, how do I get the mandala of Zhitro?
Oh yeah, Lindsay will send you.
Okay, thank you.
Can
So
you tell?
this whole practice, as I told you, is now that empowerment brought into a practice, which is called the path empowerment. So whatever the Lama introduced us during the empowerment, we are engaging in. And then according to the different empowerment, like the vase empowerment, we have the generation. According to the secret empowerment, we have the recitation. According to the wisdom empowerment, then we have like the union or the inner heat practice and so forth. And with the absolute word empowerment, then resting in the nature of mind or the absolute mandala, like that. And then we practice that until we see signs of the mandala. So we can say, oh, I want to practice this for however long you want until the signs of Zhitro manifest. And this is how Guru Rinpoche, Shri Singha, and so, brought forth attainment of rainbow body. So this is the key. So we always wish to attain rainbow body, and then we think and the rainbow body is through realizing the view of primordial purity. So, and then this is the practice of how we engage in the spontaneous presence. Like that. And through this we can achieve rainbow body, like that. So then once we manifest that state, then that is called the resultant empowerment, when the result is manifest. So this is how we practice.
On such an auspicious day, I'd like to request the Guru Gaba reading transmission for all of your students and all sentient beings at whatever point you feel is the right time. Just
the reading transmission of Guru Garba?
Yes, because you mentioned that the secret essence tantra is one of the four aspects that's
yes. We'll pick one weekend and then I'll do the transmission on a weekend that works for all of us. Mm-hmm.
whenever suits you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Khenpo, you say that some of the like this preliminary practice is like doing a short nindro. Could you use that as like a morning nindro?
Oh yes, yeah. Huh? Those who don't have Ngondro practice, then you can use this one. Though some of you already are doing Dujumtar Sarngondro or Longchen Ningting Ngondro or other Ngondro, it's fine. If you don't have, then it's good to use this Ngondro practice. The 4-session yoga practice has the preliminaries, then the refuge, bodhicitta, Vajrasattva, the mandala offering, and the Guru Yoga is here.
So could you replace the mornings at the Dujam one with this practice and then pick up the rest of the practice for the evening practice?
Of course, absolutely.
So this would be sort of your daily Nundro.
Yes.
Okay, up to which point might you do?
Oh no, throughout. This is the, you have to do throughout, except for those last 2 pages for consecrating the Bumpa. You don't have to do this again and again. It is done
Okay.
only once. It is done only once. Once
And
it's
then
consecrated, it's
Yeah.
fine. So unless you are doing it in a different place, now on your shrine, that Bumpa, with this visualization, and then recite the mantra, the Zhitro mantra, until you get like a sense that the deities have dissolved or the deities have blessed this Bumpa water like that. So at least 108 malas, 108 times of the mantra. You can do that.
So then maybe in the evening when doing the Zhitro practice, where would you do that all over again, or could you start with the next part, like the Guru Yoga and stuff?
Oh, when you're doing Zhitro practice, you can go directly to, you can skip this whole part and then directly go to the Zhitro.
Okay, so this could be our morning practice and the Zhitro could be evening practice then.
Yeah, you can do that.
Because a matter of time, not all of it, we don't all have lots of time. So that's a nice way to do that. Okay.
Kimbo, may I ask if you could tell us a little bit more about the Akadisha Pure Realm?
Yeah. Akanishta is, the word is, there is no realm or whatsoever above it. Akanishta is the summit of, if in terms of wisdom, that's the highest. In terms of state, that's the highest. In terms of place, that's the summit. There is nothing above. So, and Sambhogakaya, we talk about Sambhogakaya, the 5 wisdoms and 5 wisdom bodies, 5 wisdoms, 5 kayas and 5 wisdoms. So Akanishta is that state. There is Akanishta, that's the Sambhogakaya, Akanishta. And then all deities, all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all mandalas are there in that definitive state, in that certain way. You know, in the wisdom manifestation, that their wisdom is there all the time. Wisdom never goes out. That is the Akanishta state. And then whenever we are doing sadhana, then when we invoke the wisdom beings, we invoke from that state, the state where the 5 kayas and the 5 pramodal wisdoms are manifest all the time. That's Akanishta. So that's the Sambhogakaya. Sambhogakaya, Buddha field or Buddha realm. It doesn't have any material, it's not a material state, it's a wisdom state. Now, there is Akanishta in terms of like the Nirmanakaya. In terms of Nirmanakaya, there is Akanishta, which is half Sambhogakaya and half Nirmanakaya. And that one, in terms of material, is the highest of all. In terms of state, that's the highest. But the Sambhogakaya Akanishta is not material. It's not a state in terms of directions and so forth.
By doing this practice, are we creating the Akanisha pure realm within the container of the Bumba? And that's why the deities are residing within the Bumba?
No, we cannot contain them in the Bumpa. That now the Bumpa has been blessed with the wisdom being. The Bumpa substances are blessed with the wisdom being.
So it's not inside the Bumba is the pure Dharmakaya realm, not the Sambhogakaya or like Dakini realm. Is really outside of the Bumba that the nectar is flowing as Sambhogakaya.
The practice or here we would say still the Nirmanakaya, still the Nirmanakaya. We are still on the Nirmanakaya realm where we're inviting the wisdom mandala and then merging into that one. And then depending on how profound your practice gets, that Nirmanakaya starts to dissolve, and then the Sambhogakaya, which is manifest, pervades. That's how it happens. So that Sambhogakaya is pervasive. It's even during sentient beings experience, it is pervaded. So right now we cannot call it the Sambhogakaya mandala because I guess we could call it, but it wouldn't be, because there's still some kind of conceptual, there's some concept like that. There's still some concept there. So I guess we cannot call it the Sambhogakaya yet, like that. But we cannot rule out, we cannot say that they, for some practitioners, yes, if they have completely purified that concept, then yes, it's a Sambhogakaya pure. This topic about Nirmanakaya and Sambhogakaya is very profound, and especially the way how we Nyingmapas explain Sambhogakaya, likewise Dharmakaya and so forth, is totally different from the other Buddhist schools of how they say Dharmakaya and Sambhogakaya. Like in the general Dharmakaya, we talk about beyond elaboration. It's like emptiness beyond any kind of beyond fabrications and so forth. But in the Nyingma, that Dharmakaya is endowed with the 5 aspects of the awakened bodies or kayas and 5 primordial wisdoms. And then that Dharmakaya is inseparable from Sambhogakaya. That's Dharmakaya and Sambhogakaya are not separate. Otherwise, Dharmakaya would be, then the Buddhas of the Sambhogakaya would never awaken Dharmakaya because it's separate. So Sambhogakaya and Dharmakaya are never separate. So in terms of Nyingmapa's expression of Dharmakaya, that Dharmakaya is endowed beyond elaboration with wisdom. So, and then now those practitioners, how they kind of come toward a Sambhogakaya is there is like a division, half Sambhogakaya, half Nirmanakaya. There's a time when they kind of start to see half Sambhogakaya, half Nirmanakaya. It's like a time when your concepts, your dualistic concepts are fading, and then what is innate is manifesting. So from just because from a practice point of view, I was just mentioning like that. But if your practice is profound, and then if you don't have that concept, then why not? It can be a Sambhoga Kaya Buddha field everywhere. It's pervaded because each and every speck of particle is pervaded by Buddha fields. So we talk about, on one partless particle, there are Buddha fields as many as there are atoms in the universe. So yes, then our water is already Sambhoga Kaya Buddha field, because in one in like indivisible atomic particle, there are Buddha fields. So yes, sure. So it's truly pervaded in that way, but we cannot realize, or we cannot manifest that actuality. So in that case, I was saying, so we still, because still we have that concept. So it would be just a Nirmanakaya mandala where it is empowered by Sambhoga Kaya.
Rinpoche, where can I find the mantra for Zhitro that you just said? Is it in the file?
Yes. In the book, it's here.
Oh, okay, in the red book.
Yeah.
Oops. Why should I?
And then, so you can start practicing like that, and then this is how you use to bless others and so forth. You can fill a bottle of water with saffron and so forth, and then you can pour a few drops of this Bumba water onto that one. Then you can take it to the river and ocean and offer to the birds and bees and the fishes and so forth.
Did you mention 17 Bumpa substances? Did I get the number incorrect?
No, 25.
25.
25, yes.
It has started raining here. It's incredible. Yes. It's coming down very hard. Are the 25 Bumpa substances elaborated in the Rigpa Sorik, or the Sorik Rigpa? Like, as actual medicine?
Yes. There will be, yes. I guess I don't see it here. In the sadhana, when we do the practice, there is called zabde. It's a visualization of the recitation. It's another extract from the root practice. So we have to bring that one. I guess it's not translated there. Maybe he just kept it secret. So there is in our collection, it's there. So you'll have it soon.
You will have like an instructions for what to fill in the bumba.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, Robert is there too. So these teachings, the nature of this teaching is like this, that this never go out of time. But there are teachings that at times they kind of dissolve like that. But this Zhitro teaching is because of the profundity. You know, when Guru Rinpoche gave these teachings, he gave to Dakini Tsok and a few of the 25 disciples, and then they just practiced and so forth, but they didn't further spread these teachings. The history, there's this history when Dakini Tsok was young, that some ministers tried to create obstacles in her practice, because Dakini Tsok from a very young age, she was inspired to practicing Dharma. So she wanted to practice Dharma, but these ministers, they wanted to take her as their wives, as, you know, wanted to marry, and then they created obstacles and so forth. Because of that karma, this minister, particularly there was one minister that was born in the hell realm. And then Dakini Tsok was so compassionate toward this, that this minister who was tormented in, and then asked what would be so powerful to release that minister from such kind of karma. And then Guru Rinpoche mentioned that, oh, you open the mandala of the Zhitro, and then all gates of hell will break loose. So that's why this practice is also called Nara Dongtruk, scooping the depths of cyclic existence, scooping the depths of the incessant tormenting hell. Narak is like the deepest, the most deepest of hell realm is called Narak. Narak. In Narak, like that. So, and these teachings are of that kind of nature that you'll never go out of time. And then to connect with this one is connecting with the heart essence, one of the heart essences. Like we talk about the profound heart essence of the Guru, the Dakini, and that Longchenpa further expounded or illuminated this heart essence and so forth. This is the practice. So until we find that kind of essence, we have to go looking for it. Then once we find it, we need to settle. We need to settle. So these teachings, there are different metaphors of how these teachings are used. So until we find that, we have to look for it. Once we find, we need no look further. The example is given like a swallow. There's a bird called a bird swallow bird. It makes nest in a place where it is protected. So before it builds the nest, it surveys, it examines the surrounding and so forth. If it is free from enemies, danger, and so on and so forth, like that. Then once it knows that that is the safe hideout or safe place, then the swallow starts to build this nest. It actually builds with some kind of clay that they collect from outside, and they spit it, and then they start to patch, and they make like upside down igloo. You know, it looks like igloo, but it's not made of earthen There's a nest, swallow. You might have seen swallow's nest like that. And then the way how the swallow does is not like sparrows. Sparrows, they hop, they kind of go. Swallow, they just fly directly out of the nest where they want to go. From where they want, where they just directly fly to their nest. They don't go any place. So our teachings in the Dzogchen tradition or in the heart essence, it is mentioned that we have to look for the instruction, like a swallow searching for its nest, like that. So these teachings are of that kind, of that nature. That, and then those other teachings will go on talking about. There are metaphors used for these. You have heard about this phrase like a child entering a mother's womb or mother's lap and so forth. These are actually different levels of the teachings, how we manifest or how we actualize the teachings in that level, like that. So the first one to begin with is this nature, like a swallow looking for a nest. So finding the heart essence, like Longchen Ningtik, or the other heart essences, Viman Ningtik, Kando Ningtik, Zamo Yangtik, and these are Lama Yangtik, and then those are the ones. So until then we keep on searching. Once we find, then we need to settle, and then we need to not just kind of, dipping our toes in the water, but we need to then engage. So that's why once we start this mandala, then you have to make some kind of commitment for your auspiciousness. Then you can just say, okay, I'll practice this Zhitro for maybe 1 year. You can just say, oh, for 2 years. Or you can also say, I will practice this Zhitro until I see signs that I have actualized. So these are auspicious ways. At the least, you can just say by duration. So I'll practice for 3 months. That's a very good commitment that you make. So like that. So the best is to go until I see signs or until I get signs that Zhitro has been manifest or actualized. Then the next one is by numbers. So I'll do this Zhitro until I accumulate 10 million mantras of Zhitro or 1 million mantras of Zhitro, those kind of things. That's the second best. And then the least one is by time, saying, oh, I will do for this many years or this many months and so forth. And today I don't want to talk a lot because this was just the practice for Tsok, and then we have students who are were just and you all who are on Zoom, you are the ones who registered for the class. So to you, I'll talk in the coming classes. So for now, this should be good enough. So. Okay.
Thank you, Kempo.
Thank you. And then if you have questions, you can always email to Lundu Cholings or to Lindsay, and she'll forward it to me, and I'll try to answer it. Yeah, there is no commitment and so forth. The only commitment is that we're bringing this practice onto our path every day when we're doing it. So when you do the Zhitro practice, you're actually doing all other practices. All the lamas subsume within this, all the idam subsumed with this, all the Dakini subsumed within this mandala, all Dhamma protectors and so forth. Every one of the deities that we know of subsumed within this mandala.
Rinpoche, when we memorize the text, do we memorize in Tibetan and English?
You can memorize the mandala in whichever you can remember the mandala. So in the east or in the center, there's this Buddha surrounded by 5 Buddhas. The 5 Buddhas are surrounded by 4 bodhisattvas, those kind of thing. You will go on like that. So the cluster formation kind of moves on, and later on, other complex visualization, you can memorize those. So the language is just for you to understand. So when we are doing the Zhitro sadhana, we will do it, we'll alternate. So one Monday we'll do in Tibetan, the next Monday we'll do in English.
So it's like the text is for helping with picturing it, the mental image. But once we have the mental image very clearly, then we don't need the text anymore.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Mandala behind you, the Zhitro mandala.
This one is the Tagdrol mandala, the liberation upon wearing. Liberation upon wearing.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the elements in the Zhitro teachings. There are, we'll talk more on Wednesday. This Wednesday, I'll talk about those. I'll talk about how Karma Lingpa's teachings are categorized in different levels of how we need to practice, and then where this Zhitro mandala practice fits. I'll talk about that.
Thank
you. Okay. For those of you are at different time zone, so sorry it's too late. What time is it in Australia?
It's a good time, Kempala. It's 10 to 5 in the evening.
10 to 5.
So.
And in Ireland?
It's 10 to 6 in the morning.
Oh, wow. Early. Okay. Are you doing the Ngondro on your own? Okay,
yes, good. I'm going to do a morning session now shortly after this. So
okay. Yeah, take care. Okay, keep doing. Yeah, don't lag. Just push yourself. Okay. Do that. You'd make a very big difference, because this mind training Ngondro is very, very powerful. Particularly when we are doing it in this way. Those who are doing Longchen Ningtek Ngondro in retreat, they would start from this one. They actually start with this. So they have like a very good foundation. So that was my aim, that we all have been practicing Dhamma for all this time, and then we're still struggling day to day with our emotions, with all of other things. So this will help us all. And then, of course, this Zhitro will help us too. Okay. Daniel, you're in New York? Yeah. You brought along your sister sometime, didn't you? Where's she now? I think it's turned off.
It's in LA still.
Oh, in LA?
Yeah.
She's doing okay?
Yeah, she had COVID, but she's better now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell her to, join some of the virtual class like Chendrazik or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, I won't keep you. So thank you very much for joining. And then we have one that Nangdar, so we can do that one. The last part where we stopped in Kenlop Chosum, so Nangdar, so on your shower blessing text. Nandra Sum Langan Chigui Kudan Yesher Ban Jamle Sapsan Aljer Chembo Nyamle La Erme Toke Tegle Roche Sho Kyawa Kundu Yanda Lama Dalme Cheke Pala Longe Sadan Lamgi Yente Rabzo Te Palden Lame Gofan Yurto Sho Om Benza Guru Pema Sindhi 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 Om Benza Guru Pema Tejang Benzar Samaya Za Sindhi Pala Om Benza Guru Pema Tejang Benzar Samaya Za Sindhi Pala Om Benza Guru Pema Tejang Benzar Samaya Za Sindhi Pala Okay, everybody, good night. Okay, thank you. Shamil, take care. See you soon.
Good night.
Okay, good night. Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Chenmo Kempo.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Anisha. Take care. Okay. Bye-bye.
Good night, Kampola. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Good night. Okay, Belinda, take care. Okay. Changshu Dolkar, take care.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night. Okay. Okay, Michelle, take care too. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. Alistair, and then